Okay, so before we move on to the rear, let's just fill in the gaps with these undercuts. I tend to just use skin. Sometimes I draft down. Actually, drafting down would be better because then you don't get varying highlights. The highlights will stay the same, and then we can build edges to those undercuts. Yeah, I'd rather the undercuts don't have weird zebras. They need to be consistent. So we'll do a draft down, do it in Z from the top edge, there, and I realise it's at an angle, it's at 15 degrees, we just want it to be 0. And we'll just make it 10, no, make it 30, and flip surface. And yeah, this is a good way of doing it because then we can make sure that this surface, this edge, outside edge, is the same as the top edge. We'll just extend the surfaces through and trim away. So let's do that. Ooh. Ooh, no, we want to do them at the same time. Yeah, just extend them this way so they're clashing with the undercut. We select both surfaces and use the insect that I showed you before. You should have it in your palette, the insect project tool. And then that'll create a curve on surface, and then you just trim away. 1, 2, and trim the undercuts as well. 1, 2. So that's one. We'll do the same for this in the undercut here as well. We'll just do a draft straight down off the top edge. Ooh. 1, 2, and then extend those surfaces through. Yep. 1, 2. Trim that way, trim. Cool. Didn't intersect that. Trim. And then for this one as well, let's just have a look what it does in. Yeah, on the rear it does look like it goes straight down. So again, draft straight down, and this might be a bit annoying. It might come to a point where you realise that this edge here is not correct, so then you then need to tweak this edge to match the top edge. But I'm pretty sure when we built it with 2 parallel curves, so they should be exact. If they're not, then that's my fault. Let's draft down all the way along. That's nice. Yeah, it looks like it's varying slightly, but it's close enough. I think we can get away with it. Yeah, it's so close. So that's okay. And then we'll just blend between here. We won't worry about this area just for now because it is going to be tricky. We'll just get the rear in. Let's just freeform blend between these two though. Doesn't need to be a giant, yeah. That's nice. Okay, we can do the same on this one. Draft down from this edge. Ooh, okay, so it's actually, yeah, I remember when we built it, it forced it in a bit, didn't it? So we'll see. Okay, for now we'll draft it so it cuts under. It's very undercut though. Maybe it's not meant to be like that. Let's have a look at the image. Yeah, see on here it looks like it just goes straight down, so this is way too much. So it means we need to adjust these surfaces. That's fine. Let's do that now before we move on to the rear. So do this edge. We'll do it from the curve. And then we'll project where it's supposed to clash. So there, and then trim away, keep. Okay, so now we just need to build these surfaces to that undercut. But that shouldn't be too. Hopefully, it won't be too difficult because the surface is already in. I tend to use the align tool to snap this surface to the new surface, and then I'll use the blending option to try and get it to kind of flow better. So let's try that now. Select the square edge and then snap it to this draft edge. So now it's doing a bit of a flick. I don't think it's supposed to do that, so this is where we use the blending option, and then just drag this extra CV rows along, and it will manipulate the CVs so they do something similar to what the top row has just done. And that's okay. We'll do the same for this. Yes. Maybe we need to do an extra row. Same on this one, extra row. So make it 3. That's okay. And then same for this edge, and this is where it will kind of be a bit of a... This is the blend, right? And there's 2 surfaces there annoying me. Let's get rid of the early one. Okay, and then let's snap this edge to the undercut edge. 1, 2. Okay. And then this is where we have a bit of trouble, but that's not a massive deal. Let's turn the zebras on. Yes, it's nice. It was much better before. We're just going to have to tweak. This area is looking okay. This area is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's just these 2 surfaces which aren't. So I realised before that I can actually, I've got 2 surfaces here. I could probably get away with building it in 1. So let's try that. Let's just build a new curve from here to there. Oh, God, this bloody camera. Yeah. Let's pump it out. Okay, and was there a curve here? No. But no, there wasn't a curve here, so that's why I did it in 2 surfaces. Alright, let's keep it as 2 surfaces. This was overbuilt as well, wasn't it? So, but we're not going to do that this time. I'm just trying to remind myself, because it's been a week since I touched this model again. I'm trying to remind myself what I did. Obviously for you guys, hopefully you'll be doing it, working on it every day. Which is a good thing to do, because otherwise you forget what you've done, like I have. It's annoying. Make sure all the curves are snapped to the edges so the square will work. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, positional, 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 positional. Yeah, you see it doesn't like it, and that's why we pushed it in before. The highlight was being forced up when we wanted it to be consistent along. And that's why this area is such a nightmare. Come on. It's difficult to tell what it's doing from these images. We can try pumping this. Yeah. And this. Ooh. I also want it to be doing something similar to that. It doesn't have to be perfect because there's going to be a blend. Okay, let's try. Let's just build a square between here. 1, 2. Oh. Align this surface to the new moved. That's good though. That's worked out well there. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Kind of. Not bad. We can tweak those CVs now. Yeah, that's good. I just pulled that CV out and it tweaked it. This surface and made it look a lot more normal. It's good. But now we just have to try and make this square look normal. Make it look like it's doing what it's supposed to be. So So already, even though they're not curvature, it's looking alright. Let's see what happens when I make it curvature. So that's 4 and 2. Not bad. Oh yeah, okay, that's okay. Good. We just need to do a little bit of tweaking now of these CVs. So let's look at it from top view. Yeah, so this is, those CVs are going out and those CVs are going in. So let's try and pump these ones out and pump those ones in a bit. Let's pump these ones in first. And this one as well. Maybe not that one, just this one. That's good, and let's pump these ones out. So make sure you select the CVs on this square, not this square. If you select the CVs on this square as well, then history will die, and you'll have to rebuild the square. Okay, please look good. Yeah, not bad. It's still like the way that dies down is not really what I want, but let's see what happens when we. So now what we need to do is make sure this surface is like positional to that. So I'll just duplicate a curve on this edge. It's a trick I like to use. Duplicate this curve because I don't really want to extend this surface because it could do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'll duplicate the curve on the edge and then extend the curve from that edge up. So the right one, rebuild curve up. Oh yeah, that's diving in a lot, isn't it? Trying not to sweat. Let's see what happens. I'll snap this edge now to the curve I've just built and trim. That edge, yep, to the rebuild curve. Yeah, see, it really doesn't like it, so maybe don't do that. Maybe what I should be doing is snapping this edge to that. Oh no, I want to keep. Why the hell is it than that? 1, 2. Yeah, okay, let's try that. Just a bit of experimenting. Like this is the point where we get to some really kind of tricky areas now that you have to just play around with. Let's blend. It will just mean that the undercut here will twist a bit, but I think that's kind of what it needs to do, right? So that's good. And then we'll just build, like we've got here, we've got a blend, we'll just build that there. Probably should already have some curves there. No, alright. And 2. Project, trim, and then build a freeform blend between there and there. Good, it's doing something okay. Yeah, this isn't perfect here, but it will do for now. We can tweak it later if we need to. But it's in. Okay, let's get onto the rear fender blend and then onto the rear fascia. So I'm going to build it similar to what I've done here. So we'll and also we need to remember. Oh, yeah, there's a break here like there is on the front fender. So we'll build in, say this rail. We'll just build it as a rail because we don't really know. We don't need an edge here. It's just going to be a 3-edge rail. So 1 generation and 2 rails. That already seems to be doing like what it's supposed to be, so that's good. And then what we'll do is we'll build this surface in. So let's build it around there. Get it to mimic the wheel arch, like the behavior of the wheel arch. Project and trim. Just get that, yeah. Trim that away. Okay, and then I would, like I did before, I just built a skin from there to there and blended, and then I'll build that square in. So let's do that. A skin. Oh god, okay, make sure it's set to default. Yeah, that's fine. What is it, 5x5? Yeah, but we'll just keep it at 2 sorry, 3x5. So then I can do a curvature blend. Yes. And that's looking alright. It's kind of doing what it's supposed to be. Maybe I can pull these in a bit, the bottom edge. Yeah. Just to get that, looking a bit better. And we'll trim that edge away. Ooh. On the skin from this curve that I had built already. And then there'll be a bit of tweaking here as well, I think. So let's get a bit positive. Putting that out, that's nice. And these are things you just kind of learn as you gain experience. You start to understand what the surfaces want to do and how they behave with each other. But yeah, I'm letting you know that letting you know now what I did was pull like a couple of CVs out there to pump this surface out and get it to look nicer. Let's get rid of that. So what I've done now is I've just built a new curve in here to get it to hit this surface. I'll align it here. I don't really need to align the curve to this surface just yet, because this is just a kind of construction curve. It's not that important. Let's make sure that lines up there. Because when we build the square, we can instruct that edge on what to do. We don't need to rely on the curve too much. But it does need to be snapped to the edge, which it isn't, and that's because there's a curve there. Make sure it's snapped in side view. Yeah, that'll do. Square, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's curvature, so make that positional. We want this to be curvature or tangent. Let's just try curvature. So that's edge 1. Nice. This edge, like I said, can just be free. Set it to free, not positional. If you set it to positional, then it will try to do what the curve is doing, and we don't really want that. We just want it to do what the surfaces are doing. So let's set it to free boundary, and then this edge needs to be curvature or tangent, but let's try curvature. Okay, so it's not doing exactly what I want, and that's because we just need to pump this out more. So yeah, let's grab this CV from, okay, one sec. We want to manipulate this big square, which will in turn manipulate this, which will in turn manipulate that. So yeah, you just have to kind of get your head around that. Yeah, pump this surface out. Sorry, that CV out. Even the top edge, actually. I think that's the problem, yeah. The top edge of this surface is being pumped out, forced out by this surface, so we need to kind of force those in and force those out. So to force this CV outboard, we need to manipulate this one on this main square here. So there it is. Let's make it invisible. There we go. That's diving in too much, so we pull it out. There you go. It's starting to do what we want it to. We're gonna pull this one in as well. Oh yeah, obviously it's lost history, so you just need to resnap this curve to that edge, and then it'll come back. Still needs to be pumped in, that still needs to be pumped out, so let's get this CV, pump that out still. Same with this one, out. And then this one in. And annoyingly, every time you do that, it does lose history because we have to resnap the curve CV to that surface. Let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, looking much better. Cool. And then, of course, this is a bit too negative here, so now we'll delete the history. Oh, I don't know, no, let's keep it like that, that's fine. And now we'll build this surface in, and it'll just be a case of building a square to there, and then a square to there. Same as, pretty much the same construction as what we've done around here, but on the rear. So let's build a curve in here. Ooh. And there's always multiple ways of doing things. This was just the first method that came to mind for me, so I'm building it this way. If like you come up with another way that looks very similar and is clean patches, then that's fine. Like there are wrong ways of doing things, but there's multiple right ways. So, and that's not snapped to there, which is annoying. Square, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, wrong edges are set to curvature. Let's put them to positional. Let's have a look at the. That's okay, and like it doesn't matter too much what's going on here because it's going to be trimmed away anyway by the tail light. Maybe I don't know. No, keep that as is. No, that's fine. Right, let's build a square in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make sure position edge 1 and edge 3 are curvature. Curvature. And 3, curvature. Oh yeah, see that's not very nice either. So that would be a case of tweaking this surface again and this surface. Probably need to let's try just tweaking those curves first. It's not that great. Try the top CV for the curve. That's a bit better already. Let's have a look at the CV layout from top view. Similar, but yeah, this maybe we pull this in a bit, and it won't update because every time I do that, I need to re-snap the curve for that surface on. And it still didn't update. Make sure it's snap to the big surface. There we go. That's all right. Let's move that. Move that in. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, see that's much nicer. Cool. And then there should be it should fade out there. And it does, so that's nice. Maybe it's fading out too soon, but if that's the case, then you just have to like pull these in a bit more. But when you do that, you then have to realize that it's going to affect the zebras. Maybe I'll just pull the bottom CV of that curve in. And I didn't like that because it's not even curvature now. Just a little tiny tweak. And that's alright. Cool, yeah, so we've got the rear fender in, and now we'll move on to the rear bumper and fascia. And don't forget to save your work. Okay, let's move on to the rear. Let's have a look at the image of it just to get it in our minds. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on here. Like there's a break there, which is not common. Like usually it's a nice blend. So yeah, that's fine though. That shouldn't make it too difficult. But there are some tricky things going on. We just have to kind of blank out the crazy stuff that's going on the tail lamp and try and keep it logical in our minds. Yeah, okay, let's just build. Yeah, obviously my curves are slightly off from the orthographic, but that's fine, we can work with it. Let's start from the down up. So let's build this corner in and the bumper and then work our way up. Okay, so what I like to do sometimes, that doesn't look like it's symmetrical. Just make sure it is. Is build a draft in straight away for the light catcher of the bumper. So let's do that for the direct rear. This drafts are really good for consistent surfaces, like so that the zebras stay consistent all the way across. If you start building skins and rails and squares, it becomes a little bit more difficult to keep the two parallel edges doing the same thing. But with a draft, it does it automatically for you. Flip surface, and then I'll just turn the CVs on. Turn the CVs on, and then just manipulate those to match the center line view. we start looking at it from rear as well. Oh, annoyingly I've got both on, get rid of that. Yeah, that's fine. Let's have a look at the image again. Does it? Yeah, so it kind of stays the same angle. It just gets intersected there as it goes around the corner. So, I mean, sometimes I angle this in a bit. To do that, I'll just extend it back, and now it's not symmetrical. So I just select the surface and click symmetry. Now I'll build it, instead of a draft, I'll just build a monorail. Not curvature, we just want it to be positional. And that should keep a consistent highlight all the way down, but it kind of hasn't really. Because monorails aren't that great sometimes. Let's just do a draft again then, and get it close. Draft up, turn CVs on, select the CVs, select the hull. I just realised I only did it at 4 degrees, so let's up that to 5. There, yes. Let's up that to 5. Oh, that is at 5. This one wasn't though. Select the edge, and let's move it so it does something similar to that other draft. That's alright. Oh no, it's doing something very similar to what the monorail did, so maybe the monorail was fine. Anyway, that's in. So at least we've got something, a guide to work to now. Let's get rid of some of these curves, they're annoying. Okay, that's better. And then we'll build this surface in here, and that is just, it's positional, and it's kind of like, yeah, the core comes to there. So let's build down. We can do a draft again, but we kind of, it does come to a point there, so let's just build a square in and work from there. Is there anything we can use as a guide on the orthographic? No, not really that helpful, so we'll just, yeah. Sometimes I even do a draft and then position align it, so let's try that. Draft straight down, we'll give it some crown, we'll give the draft some crown because that's what it should have. Let's do that. Give it a bit of angle, I don't know, 5 degrees, no, wrong way, -5 degrees, so it goes in. And yeah, see, we're having an issue here, and that's because this edge, this surface, and this surface need to be doing something similar. So at the moment, this is way too round, I think, and that's fine though. We can manipulate. So let's just get rid of that. Yeah, so I think it should. At the moment, it's coming way too round. At this point here, it needs to be coming in because it needs to be mimicking what's going on here a bit more. But let's also, yeah, this is another thing. Like the draft isn't great. We should, yeah. Let's forget the draft. Let's build a square in there. Would be great if we could build it to one curve. I don't know why that's come undone there. That's a 5. No, forget that. Yeah, I might get away with it. Let's do it. Let's build to that curve for now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be close. It makes it easier to manipulate then. 1, 2. Let's turn those CVs off. Let's turn that CV off. Okay, let's build a square in and see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, make sure everything's positional. Okay, so there's a negative break there, which is not what we want. We want it to be positive, so we just need to pull everything in. So let's stretch this curve in, and then that curve as well. Let's give it some crown though, And let's see what it looks like now. Better, but now I've gone too far in. But it's doing something like similar to what it's supposed to be doing now, which is good. For God's sake. We want it to kind of hit there, so let's build that curve to there. And then this, snap that to there. Oh, that's nice. But again, there's a positive break there. That's just because there's too much crown here. It's better. This now can come outboard. Here as well, outboard. This actually should come inboard a bit because there's a positive break. Yeah, negative break. And it's just about now playing with the CVs to get this condition right and this condition right, and also get the highlights looking right. Again, I think maybe it's just too round there. Let's have a look at the image. So that intersect looks a lot more straight and flat. So now that would be a case of, I've done as much as I can with this surface. I feel like the highlights on it are looking okay. Not perfect. Oop. Yeah, I think that's as good as I'm going to get that surface. Now I need to manipulate this surface. And that would just be a case of, like I said, this edge needs to be doing kind of something similar. So it just needs to be like pulled in a bit more. Here and there. Just push it in. And let's have a look again. Side view. Let's have a look at the image again. Yeah, so that highlight just gets to there and flows around. At the moment I've got it to flow to there. Eventually it will flow around like that. This is wrong here. That needs to be trimmed away. So we'll do that now as well before we forget. Ooh. Project that curve on. Can actually, like, it's probably pointing up too much, but it's fine. What does it look like from rear? Alright, let's bring it down a bit. There you go. Okay. This also needs to be updated because I pulled these CVs in to do a bit of a flick. It's now like not hitting positional there like I wanted it to before, so we'll just grab the CVs of those curves and snap them to there. Okay, so that's looking alright. Kind of naturally blends out on its own there as well, which is good. Let's build. We've got those curves there still, so that's good. Actually, we want to get rid of that curve now. Just duplicate the curve from this edge and we'll build from that, because it's got 5 CVs now and it's exactly positional to that edge, which is good. Let's build the blend in here. Let's have a look at the image. It's yeah, quite a big blend around the corner of the bumper, so let's do that just so we have something to build to all the way around. We can use it as a guide for the rest of the surfaces. Let's try the fillet tool. 200 is way too big. 100, 1, 2. That's too small actually. 200 might have been just right. And of course it won't build it. Let's try 150. If you find it doesn't build it, sometimes ALIAS just does that to annoy you. You can just manually build a rad in. I feel like this radius should come to there, so I'm just going to manually do it. 200 might have been just right. So we just kind of mimic what that edge is doing with our curves, so it behaves in a similar fashion. Let's trim that away. And we also have to kind of, yeah, build that offset as well on this side so that freeform blend does what it's supposed to be doing. Because this isn't trimming away, because there needs to be a center line trim now, because it's set on a symmetry layer. So if I turn symmetry off, then it's fine, but we want it to be doing the same thing on both sides, so we'll just trim it down the middle. So let's just build a center line curve. Select the surface, trim that centerline curve, and sorry, project the centerline curve and then trim. Let's delete that and build a freeform blend. 1, 2. Oh, and of course it doesn't want to do it. It's annoying, but when that happens, which is quite common, I just extend the surface and then put in a blend curve and project that blend curve onto it to create the new edge. Okay, that's cool. We've got our light catcher in for our bumper, so that's good. This will come in later. Yeah, this is a tricky area. This is, yeah, definitely, it's going to be quite difficult, but what we'll have to do is just build a blend around here and a surface there, and then build another radius around. Oh, okay, but let's concentrate on the lower bumper first. Okay, so let's untrim this actually. Delete the history there so it doesn't go crazy, and then we'll build a core for this, which should follow the center line. It'll be similar to the center line angle, and in rear view it will probably dive in a bit, so let's do that. We'll do something kind of similar to what's going on there, and then so actually there is a brake, and apparently the brake is there, but I'm not sure. Let me look at the image. Yeah, so this is just a light catcher, so actually it's just one, it's almost one big surface, and then there's a light catcher put in there. So let's just build one big surface for now, and then we'll come to that later. This edge should do something similar to the top edge. Let's make that 5. We don't even need to do that actually, we can just build a rail, because then that lower edge will be doing something very similar to the top edge. So let's build a rail, start with this top edge because that's what we want to dictate the surface, and then select the 2. When that happens, you it's not doing what you want it to do, because this point is dictating where it goes. To move this point, you hold down the middle mouse button and drag it round to where you want it to go. And it didn't work. That's so annoying. Alright, let's go with the square then. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we tweak this lower edge to do what we want it to do. At the moment it's doing something weird. We should move these CVs in. That's nice. Move these CVs out. But actually, probably do with moving this in. Yeah, that's better. And then these in a bit as well. Maybe give it a bit more puff. That's better too. Okay, I think that would do. I feel like there'll be some trim down there. No, it is all surface, but it's a light catcher on this. I don't know if we've got that on our orthographic, but we can build that in. So I think what we have here is a good, decent surface. We can trim it away here at least, and then build surface in there. It looks like we've got 2 surfaces going on here, and that's probably different to this image, of course. Yeah. Here there's a big diffuser, whereas on ours it's a much smaller diffuser, so obviously they're different specs. We will build to our version. This curve is wrong. Let's move that back to there. I say it's wrong. It's not wrong because everything moved rearwards. Yep. Let's keep going. Let's build this big surface in now as well. And it just looks like there's a little light catcher that flows all the way around. So yeah, let's just build this big surface in first, and then we'll build that little light catcher in. Here then, because we've got this edge already, I would usually do a rail tool or a draft again. So untrim this edge. Build a rail off of that. 1, 1, 2, 3. Get rid of the curvature, make it positional, positional, positional. Have a look at the zebras. Yeah, it's doing what it kind of needs to be doing. And then just, I say it's doing what it needs to be doing. Yeah, that's good. Cool. These curves will be slightly off, so what we'll do is we want to make sure that this curve runs consistently with this surface, so we'll build it backwards, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute once I've trimmed this away. This is probably going to look way too round in rear view though. Yeah, that's because it's too angled. Let's bring that up a bit more. This curve, let's snap it to that. Okay, and then we'll build this little light catcher in all the way around. The light catcher, yeah, so we'll actually trim it away here. Not there, they will keep the surface bit here. There's one surface here, but then it also, saying that looks a lot more round there, doesn't it? Whereas mine's quite flat. And that is all to do with this edge. So let's play around with that a bit. Extend, bring that back a bit, curve. Okay, it's a bit rounder. Let's just deal with that. Right, so the light catcher comes to about that point, so we'll produce an intersect here by trimming a curve, by projecting a curve on at that point, and then we'll trim that away. Oh, it's trim that away, and then we'll build a little ledge using the draft tool. Just draft down. We don't need it to be Bezier, it should all work in one surface with no spans. Where's explicit control? Turn that on to get rid of the spans, and then you can dictate what it's doing. Let's keep that at 1 for now. So it's a 5 by 1 draft. It's kind of at the right angle already, so that's good. It's a bit too long, it needs to stop there, so let's just make it smaller. 20. Bit too 25. Yeah, that's good. Maybe you can make it a bit more dramatic. And then eventually there'll be a blend. There's a fillet in between there. Let's project that on. Get rid of that. We're just kind of guessing now based on the orthographic because the image we're using. What am I doing? The image we are using is different to our ortho, so we're just kind of having to predict what it would do. And again, this just comes with the experience of working on exteriors. You learn what certain areas do naturally, like what the trend is. Let's make this 5. Oop. So yeah, I'm just manipulating this curve that I built in and out to make it to make the insect run nicely towards this point. That'll do. And when we put a blend in there, it will look even better. It will look less square. Let's build this in though, where it dies under. We'll do again a draft tool from this edge down. Turn the CVs on and just manipulate them to do what you want them to do. Just kind of, yeah. Just looking. I was just trying to look at what it was doing on the ortho. Then add an extra row of CVs so you can give it some crown. And then, yeah, what happens here, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, okay, I am sure. What happens here is this intersects with that. Let's extend that curve on surface. Keep. Probably move that in a bit. Okay, undo that. Intersect. Keep. Let's trim that. Now we need to do the center curve trim like we did for the rest of it. So we just need to build a new square in here from that to that and get it kind of close to this edge. I don't know why that hasn't come all the way to the edge. That's a bit annoying. Oh, it's because I've trimmed it at the wrong place. Just forget that for now. Alright. Okay. So this edge should be kind of coming close to that edge. Doesn't need to be perfect because we're just going to build a big blend in there anyway. It's pretty close. Rebuild the square in there. 1, 2. Of course, it's not snapped to there. Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. That's nice. We'll trim that away there. Okay, and then let's trim these away again, and we'll use this as a guide for our blend all the way around that bumper. That's looking alright. Save your work. Yeah, and I just like to build a curve like I did earlier for the top ledge. Get it kind of doing something similar to the core line. So 1, 2, just angle those out a bit, project that on, and trim all of that away. 1, 2, 3, and of course that hasn't worked because they also need the center line. So trim that, trim that. There you go, that's trimmed away there. And same for these side surfaces inside view. Get it doing something similar to the core. Yeah, I have to kind of stretch tool and then project. Oh, sorry, yeah, I snapped it to the curve rather than the edge. And trim. And then freeform blend. I just realised that actually it's probably a bit too angled. So let's just unspring it a bit. There we go. And freeform blend around the corner. Make sure it's at 1. So yeah, accidentally. Let's redo that one because it wasn't at 1. One, 2. Oh, I forgot about that. It's okay. 1, 2, See, like it works there, but for some reason it didn't work on the top surface. Just ALIAS likes to do stupid shit like that to piss you off. That's going around the corner reasonably nicely. There and there. Oh no, what's going on? Here it's a bit tighter, and that would suggest that the corner gets tighter as it goes down, so let's kind of, it'll be like a variable fillet. Oh, what's happened? There it is. So just make that smaller there. Same with this edge. Move that way. And you can see in this view as well, it does that. Mine isn't doing that. Mine is going outboard a lot more. Oh no, okay, it's doing something very similar. That's good. But yeah, when you start to manipulate the edges, freeform blend usually doesn't like that, and it starts to do some crazy stuff. So you just kind of have to rebuild them really. Freeform blend 1, 2. That's better. It's a bit tighter there, which is good. Freeform blend there and there. And there and there. And then let's fix this. Yeah, like I said before, I don't know why it isn't doing what you want it to do, but it doesn't matter. We'll just project that edge onto there now and trim away. And we have our rear lower bumper in. So that's great. Now we move on to the upper area, which is where it's going to get quite difficult, I think. So yeah, again, save your work. And let's move on. So I'm going to start by building. I'm not going to worry about this area just yet. I'm just going to build in the center and then figure this out afterwards. Again, so I don't really trust my curve building abilities from the beginning. So I'm going to carry on with my draft technique. This actually needs to come up to there. I've cut that too low. So where's this? That needs to go up to like there. So untrim this, extend it. Because yeah, the core is actually here, but then it also gets trimmed away by the trunk. But the core itself is like there. So yeah, let's extend that. And just retrim. And I feel like, yeah, it's not going to do exactly what we want just yet, but I think I know why. This point here needs to also come higher as well. So let's extend that too. Edit. Just needs to come to there, which means, let's trim this away. Let's trim that again. That point needs to come up, so let's do that. We'll just stretch. We want to try and keep history there. This is also not what I wanted. Ooh. But anyway, first let's just snap it to there. So we'll do one curve at a time. Use the stretch tool, stretch it to there. Also this curve, snap it to there. That'll update. Let's fix this as well. Let's give it more CVs. 5. It's nice. It does feel like it's way too, like it feels like it's cutting in way too much there. Let's just look at the image. Yeah, I feel like it's nowhere near as harsh. It's a bit more shallow. Can't see from this angle, but yeah. So what I need to do is unspring this. So we'll pull this out. This as well needs to be trimmed. There's too many cuts on surfaces. And then let's re-snap this to the stretch. Stretch. But now there's a negative break there, which is not what we want. So actually, oh okay, it's probably because of this though. Let's take some of the crown out of that. Oh, yeah. Where's the curve here? Oh, just move that in a bit. Move this out. It really doesn't like that at all. Yeah, it's just this break isn't harsh enough, and then it gets harsher there. Like, it needs to kind of fade out as it gets closer to the wheel arch. Let's have a look again. Well, no, I mean, it's still pretty harsh all the way along. I think that's mainly to do with this. So actually, alright, let's angle this in a bit again, just a tiny bit. I probably brought it out too much. There. Snap those curves. Sorry, stretch. It is annoying though. Like, that gap is way too big. Let's bring that edge in a bit more just to match the surfaces. Is this a 3? Yeah, no, it's a 5. Oh, it's really not perfect at all, but okay, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it for now, so let's move on. Okay. Okay. Right. Now let's build. So yeah, the hood can be confused. Sorry, the trunk can be confusing because there is an offset there. I think it. Let's have a look at the image. So this curve flows all the way through, but this one doesn't. So we kind of just need to build this surface all the way along and just trim it away, and then build this surface separately. So let's do that. Where have my surfaces gone? Oh, damn. Yeah, let's build this blend in first. Freeform blend. Hope it looks okay. It does, apart from that annoying condition. Just put that on. They're not doing exactly the same thing, but we'll see that later on. Fix that later. Let's draft up then from this middle surface up, It needs to be 0. It's got a little bit of crown, and I'd say there's a core there now, so we'll just build to there, and then that's where there's a change of direction, and there'll be a radius there and there. Yeah, it's gonna get tricky. Ooh. So we'll just slightly overbuild it here as well, though we know that, yeah, this is probably going to blend around, but maybe not. Let me have a look again. Yeah, there is, because you can see that surface blends round, so that means effectively there is a blend all the way through. It's just been trimmed away, and then there's been like a chamfered surface in the middle. But this area just, oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Right, okay, let's give it some crown. Proportional crown. No, wrong way. That'll do. Okay, and then let's trim it. Oh, why are there multiple curves on there? Let's get rid of that one. Trim. What I'm also going to do is get this edge to do something similar to that edge in rear view. So let's untrim, extend, because in order to get a nice flowing zebra pattern through, you kind of need the edges to be doing something similar in rear and like in all views. Though I really feel like this isn't going to do what I want, because I haven't built it very well, so we'll have to go back to it as we build. Okay, freeform blend. Ooh. And again, it's not doing what we want it to do. We'll just do that for now. Yeah, so yeah, that's 1,000,000% not what I want, but I know what I need to do, I think. Let's delete the history on this one, and we'll just manipulate this edge on its own. Let's bring it down to 3 CVs on that edge. Basically, I'm trying to get it so this intersect runs better, and yeah, so I was right before where this point needs to come down. So that's what I'm going to do. Just, yeah, got confused. Bring this down. Probably be easier if I reduce the number of CVs on this surface again. Bring it down to 2. More control. Let's get rid of that curve. It's getting in the way. That's better. Let's just get those CVs looking good in all views now, front and rear. So yeah, this is the issue now. Like, I'm losing. I need to keep this brake. I've got it there, which is good. The more I pump these out, the more that brake will disappear. But it's looking more like it. I'm going to cheat this. There you go. I'm just going to let this all intersect. I'm not going to snap it to any edge, just let it intersect with each other and get rid of these curves, they're getting in the way. Feels really flat here still. Yeah, I'm usually a bit more efficient than this, but yeah, like, I've got too confused now. I'm just having to manipulate the CVs to get the surfaces to do what I want them to do. Still feels like this needs to come out, push out more, pump out. There we go. That's good. I think that's pretty much there now. Still going up a bit there. Let's pump out a bit more. Ugh. I'm twisting this light catch now, which I shouldn't really be doing, but it's not terrible. Okay, that'll do. Right, let's move on. Edit, extend, trim that back. Okay, and do what I did before where I projected on the core lines. Just trim that back. There'll be a surface up there now that will build, but like I said before, it's almost like there was a core and there was a blend round and then it was trimmed away. So I mean, we can try that. So let's trim that back. Yeah, I'm not 100% happy with that because it is twisting and it shouldn't be. But yeah, that's just a case of you just have to constantly tweak these areas to make them do what they're supposed to be doing. But for this, we'll keep it as is. Let's build one big slab for the bumper. Sorry, for the trunk. But it won't actually be the trunk, it's just a construction surface that we're going to build to create this blend, which we will use. Yeah. I mean, we can use it up to there, that's where it stops. So this surface I'm building now, we'll use it up to here, and it gets trimmed away. Alright, 1. Right, let's keep it at 2. Give it some crown. Yeah, that's about right. And we'll build a blend in here. Let's make sure in rear view they're doing something similar. So extend, fine. Alright, and then build a freeform blend through there. And yeah, at the moment it's not looking like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but we'll trim it away now. To the curves. Maybe in rear view, yeah. Okay, so I said before, we can use this surface, but only up to here. So let's project those curves on. I mean, we're going to trim it away here. Oh. Keep. Cool. And then this is going to be snap, snap, snap. So yeah, we've got curves there, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. This actually needs to come down to there, and this edge will be dictated by the radius that we'll put in there. So let's trim that away. Nice, okay, we're getting there now. Save your work. Yeah. Okay, looking good. Right, now we'll move on to, let's put this surface in and then try and figure this area out. Once we get that in, then we're really like getting there. That's probably the hardest area. The rest shouldn't be as hard as that. Okay, save your work, and we'll just stop there for now.